Elaine Delmar, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Elaine Delmar. Elaine Delmar. And the trio, press smiles to the piano, Jeff Klein on the bass, Trevor Tompkins on the drums. Miss Elaine Delmar and the trio. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for Elaine Delmar and the trio. And Elaine will be back to sing some more in a little while. First of all, in just a few moments, Eddie Davis and Harry Edison will be on with the quintet. I'd like to remind you once again that they're here until Saturday, starting on Monday for 2 weeks. Scott Hamilton, great tenor saxophone player, will be making his first appearance in the club with his quartet, and opposite him Stan Tracy will be here with his quartet. They're followed in by a 2-week engagement featuring George Coleman, and opposite him Dorothy Donegan will be making her first appearance in the club. Then Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers will be back. Thank you, Mr. Blake. Also, as I told you, Buddy Rich and the orchestra will be in the club for 2 weeks. Later in the year, Earl Hines will be back in the club. Also, Zoot Sims will be here. Sarah Vaughan will be back. And towards the end of the year, Stan Getz will be back in the club. What a galaxy of talent. You don't seem terribly impressed. We're also presenting the Moscow State Circus, the Bolshoi Ballet, be here, Mass Bands of the RAF, be here, the Girls Choir, be here, the Red Arrows, be here, Peters and Lee, be here, Pam Ayers, be here, Charlie Blackburn, Rolf Harris, all your favourites. Also Charles Manson is going to do 2 weeks. Should be a lot of laughs. In just a few moments then, Eddie Davis and Harry Edison will be back with the quintet, and then Elaine Delmar will be on to sing some more. Meanwhile, our waiters and waitresses will be very glad to take care of you. Thank you. We do, as a matter of fact, have 8 fantastic waiters and waitresses here at the club. I've only ever seen 3, but they've shown me there are 8. There's one of the waiters moving. Very rare sight. That's Anita, one of our very attractive young waitresses. She used to be an air hostess for the Wright brothers. Oh, she's gone. Oh, only kidding. She's a very, very intelligent young lady. I was talking to her last night about literature. I asked her if she liked Dickens, and she said she didn't know, she'd never been to one. I don't know what that means either. She also thinks that Moby Dick is a venereal disease. But all the girls that work here are very attractive, as you must have noticed. We've got one girl that looks like Barbarella, Sir John Barbarella. Put it kindly, she's plain. She's so plain that she gets obscene phone calls from a guy at the reverse of the charges she accepts. When she was a kid, she was so ugly, mother had to tie a pork chop round her neck before the dog would play with her. That's a fact. But all the staff that work here are wonderful. We have Martin. Martin is our sound man, works in the sound box up there. Martin's the greatest sound man in the country. In the city, useless. The only deaf sound man in the world. Martin comes from Germany, which is a wonderful place to come from. I always told the Germans they've all got a boil at the back of the neck and they all walk like they've got timber up their crutch. Have you noticed? But Martin's great. He was in don't clap alone, so the way to bring you a fish. But Martin's great. He was in show business in Germany some years ago and very successful, had a very big following. Stormtroopers, mostly. Martin is also our maitre d', which is French for moron. Give an example of his mentality. When he first started to work here, he used to stick green shield stamps on his insurance card, you see? And he got nicked for it. Judge gave him 6 months and a tea set. Well, he's great. He got married 3 weeks ago, and already he can hear the patter of tiny feet around the house. Mother-in-law's a dwarf. Wife had triplets, he spent 6 months looking with the 2 other guys. Believe it? It's true. Oh, he's great, man. He's been here 10 years, does a good job. Very badly. No, he's great. Very well educated, he took medicine at Oxford, feels much better now. It's true. No, he's 52 years old, Martin, and he doesn't look it. He used to. I don't want to embarrass him, but he recently had a hair transplant. And it's a fantastic job, very expensive. What they did, they took the hair from under his arms, put it on his head. That's a fact, and it looks fantastic. But it stinks. Wants to use right guard for a hairspray. Spends a lot of money on that kind of thing, trying to look young. Hair transplants, hormone injections, complete waste of money. There's only one way to keep looking young. Hang around with old people. Stay on here. Who else? We got Roxy. Roxy's our cashier, very beautiful girl, works at the cash desk out there. She's a redhead. No hair, just a redhead. She's great. She comes from Australia, and before she worked here, she used to work under the name of Gloria. Used to do several difficult tricks with a kangaroo. No, actually, I'm only kidding about Roxy. In fact, she's a very shy, very modest young lady. She's so modest, she even eats bananas sideways. She's explaining that to him. How about that? Who else? Henry, you can't miss Henry as you come in. He works out in the foyer, you can't miss him. He weighs 32 stone, eats furniture for dinner. His shadow weighs more than I do, that's a fact. Henry comes from a town in the north of England called Scunthorpe. Don't know if anybody here is familiar with Scunthorpe, but it's a wonderful town, if you're a leper. I spent a wonderful fortnight there one Sunday. We had this job playing up in Scunthorpe. When we got there, it was closed. But we flew there actually, and when we arrived, the pilot said, "We're about to land in Scunthorpe, but you all set your watches back 100 years. You don't know this, but they got an atom bomb on Scunthorpe. Did 15 pounds worth of damage. That's a fact. Even the seagulls fly upside down over Scunthorpe. Nothing worth shitting on. See? That's true. But if there is anybody here from Scunthorpe, I'm only kidding, it's a very nice town really. It's very quiet and very peaceful up there. So quiet up there, they had to shoot an old man to start a cemetery. More than 3 people stand together, they think it's a riot. They got one set of traffic lights in the whole town. They change once a week. People used to come out and watch. When I was there, I asked a cab driver to take me somewhere where all the action was. Took me to this place where they were fishing illegally. Nightlife up there finishes in the afternoon. So boring up there. One day the tide went out, never came back. We had nothing to do. We used to sit in the hotel room all day, mix LSD with chopped liver, take trips to Israel. But it's a great cultural town. Went to the library, read the book. Fantastic. And they do have a wonderful turd museum up there, I'll tell you that. Got some fantastic shit in there, really. Must be worth a lot of money, that crap. But we did stay in a very nice boarding house up there. I remember it was the kind of place where you have to wipe your feet on the way out. And the rooms are so small, you turn the doorknob, it rearranges the furniture. I remember saying to the landlady when I got there, I said, "I'd like to talk to you about the ceiling in my room." She said, "What about it?" I said, "I'd like one." It was that kind of thing. And she said a funny thing to us when we first got there. She said, "I hope you've got a good memory for faces." And we said, "Why?" She said, "Because there's no shaving mirror in the bathroom." And the cooking, the food was terrific. How can you fuck up cornflakes? Scunthorpe's the kind of town where you turn on your electric toothbrush and the street lights dim. For speaking of food, we serve very good food here. We never get complaints about the food. You get a few people throwing up, but no complaints. Top breeders recommended. 500,000 flies, can't be wrong. No, it's very good food. Bit expensive. I think it's cheaper to eat the money, but it's great. Also, we have an assistant chef. Used to be a kamikaze pilot. He's done 14 successful missions. They're the Japanese suicide pilots, the kamikaze. You can only do one, it's finished. Always got a bunch of dead Greeks. He was telling me, our assistant chef, when he first came to this country, he flew here by Air India, the marvellous airline, Air India, because they only serve dinner to the first class passengers, but they let the tourists come up and beg. It's great. Any Indians in the audience, just a joke. No Indians, good. Who else? Oh, we got an Italian washer-up starting work tonight, telling me something I never knew, because when Israel marched into the Lebanon, Italy surrendered, just in case. And the chef himself is great, our head chef, been here about 14 years, he's a fantastic cook. Gets pygmies, come all the way from Africa, just to dip their arrows in his soup. Even the mice eat next door. These are the jokes, sir. No, actually, our chef is a great, he's a very good cook. You can eat with complete confidence. And he's unique, our chef. He's half black and half Japanese. And every 7th of December, he attacks Pearl Bailey. And let me tell you, he's another mastermind, another brain of Britain. Let me tell you how his mind works. He wrote a letter of complaint to the Tampax company. He said, I've been using your product for 6 months, still can't play tennis, swim or ride a bike. Well, so much for humour. Been a marvellous audience. Very impressed by the way some of you seem to be controlling yourselves. First time I've seen dead people smoke. What have you been drinking, cement? No. No, you've been a marvellous audience. A credit to Poland. Now, in just a few moments, Eddie Lockjaw Davis, Harry Sweets Edison of the Quintet, be on to play for you. Meanwhile, I'd like to thank you very much for listening to me. You made a happy man very old. Thanks a lot.